What are the different tenures available if somebody is looking to lease a car? Who benefits more? A customer who drives a lot per month or a customer who uses the least amount of kilometers per month? Who benefits more from car leasing? Hello everyone, welcome back to RevUp with AR Pro. All of you know that AR Pro is the world's largest network of professionals from the auto industry, and if you're not a member on AR Pro yet, immediately go down to the link given here and register yourself to become a free member. Like every week, today we have yet another interesting guest on our show. Before I tell you about him, let me tell you about his expertise. Well, you must have seen of late in India, subscription model or even car leasing is something that's catching up fast across. I'm sure you must have heard of Hyundai coming up with subscription service for their cars. Similarly, Maruti also launching a similar service. Apart from that, we also have car leasing, which is not a known term to many people. So, in this edition of RevUp, we have an expert from the industry who is going to tell you all about car leasing. To tell you about him, he's got several years of experience in the auto industry and has been exclusively working in the leasing industry for many years now. So he'll be the right person to tell you all about car leasing. So let me introduce you to Pro Karthik, who is going to tell you all about car leasing.
Hello members, this is Karthik Saligram here, and today I would like to tell you a few things and a few information about how does a car leasing work. Now you might ask, or you might have heard about car leasing through your fellow pro members or in your dealerships or through another channel information available. You might also be wondering or be having many more information or queries or doubts as to how does a car leasing work. I am here to answer all your queries at any point of time. So now let's begin. Car leasing is a very simple and a very unique way of using a car in a very economic and a very safe manner. I mean, you might now ask me, what is car leasing? Car leasing, in a very simple term, is that using a vehicle without actually owning it. Now, your question is how? I'll come to that part later. For example, now to make you understand as to how does a car leasing work, all of you guys must have opted for homes. Home leasing, buying of homes on lease. So this is very similar to that. But yes, there are certain conditions, terms and conditions, which are actually different between a home leasing and a car leasing. So here, now, to make you understand much more in a much more easy way. So car leasing is a simpler way of owning a car or using a car without actually owning it. So in terms of purchasing of home, you actually, to differentiate or to simplify this, whenever you purchase a home, you on lease, what do? You actually pay a nominal amount to the landlord. At that point of time, you enter into a lock-in period, sign an agreement, then you stay for the specific period of time. During this time, you generally start paying for the utilities. Now, what are the utilities? Utilities are the water, cable, electricity, etc., etc. Until the tenure of the house completes or the agreement completes, you are always there paying the utilities continuously. Once the term completes or once the tenure completes, you surrender the home and you move on to a new home. That's it. But whereas in a car lease also works in a similar fashion like that. So car leasing here in India specifically has started from the past 15-20 years. There are good number of companies who are opting for the car lease option. Good number of our corporates, major corporates who are there in India are opting for it. So they are actually looking at variable or viable options for their employees or for their other purposes or to promote their products or tools or wherever convenient it is. Leasing is being termed or is available for all of them. And currently in India, there is the passenger vehicle lease, there is a commercial vehicle lease, and there is a equipment lease. Since I will be more concentrating on the passenger vehicle lease, as so that you'll be able to relate or you'll be able to understand the information much more clearly. So now, how does this work? How does the leasing work basically? So unlike a cash loan, now I would like to compare, or I would like to share you an analysis between a cash purchase, a bank loan purchase, and a leasing purchase. Cash loan or a cash purchase. In a cash purchase, what does happen? And customer comes in, walks into your showroom, inquires about the desired vehicle. He pays in full cash. You register the car and you deliver it. There ends. He might keep the vehicle for 3 years or 5 years. That is his wish. He keeps regularly visiting for service again and again. For insurance claims, anything is managed from his side only. That is all taken care from his side. So when in a bank loan, again, there is a small deviation from the cash purchase. You introduce your finance team to your customer. He opts for a loan from the leading bankers. He opts for a loan also. In some cases, he is provided with the 100% funding, but in some cases there is a attached down payment to it. When there is a down payment comes into picture, that is always will be for a down payment will be always some amount which will be shelled from his pocket, apart from the accessories which he buys, and apart from the maintenance of the car, all these things. Now the third part is the leasing. In leasing, the leasing company actually does a 100% funding for the client. So in many ways, leasing actually has a good number of benefits in terms of cash loan, cash purchase, or a loan purchase. In a cash purchase, see, a vehicle is valued at 10 lakhs. Let's take an example that the vehicle is valued at 10 lakhs. Suppose a user or a customer comes in, pays in 10 lakhs and although that 10 lakh rupees of cash is blocked. Suppose that is, again, as you all know, that vehicles especially are a depreciating asset. So now you might ask, what is depreciation, or what is an asset? Depreciation is that today the value of the vehicle which is there, if it is at X, tomorrow it will be at Y. So the difference is X minus Y. So tomorrow, if today the vehicle is valued at 10 lakhs, in the next 2 years, the value of the vehicle will come down to 8 lakhs. Again, further 2 years down, it will be coming to around another lakh rupees more or 2 lakh rupees more, depending on the condition of the vehicle. Now, why does anyone pay 10 lakhs upfront and would like to lose or would like to opt for a reduction in their value of their vehicle after 4 years? So that does not make sense. So that is where the cash purchase actually is not useful, or you can actually reserve that amount of cash for your productive purposes. Again, in a loan, there is a down payment attached to it. As you come into the down payment part of it, again, apart from the down payment, there is a maintaining part of it, there is insurance part of it, which also is there in the cash purchase as well. The maintenance part and the insurance part of it actually takes a lot of your time when you actually manage to get into the day-to-day activities of that, servicing of a car, or let it be tire replacement, or let it be your general checkup, or your whatever the service that costs in running repair, or when it comes to insurance, there is your body damage, your door replacement, etc. All your claims, all your insurance, all your maintenance, everything is taken care from the leasing company. But this is how the leasing or the loan purchase or the cash purchase works. But here in a car lease option, what happens is the leasing company is the rightful owner, and we will lease the vehicle to the client. So let's say the client is ABC Limited and the leasing company is XYZ. So XYZ actually leases the vehicle, purchases the vehicle from the dealer of the respective brand, and will be leasing the vehicle to the company ABC Limited. So there, mutually they will be entering into an agreement and a contract on that vehicle currently, according to their terms and conditions, which is applicable to them. Once they enter into the terms and conditions, it will be set, and for the respective tenure, everything will be decided accordingly, and they will be able to fund the entire cost of the car. 100% funding is always done while leasing cases. Majority of the cases which are done or where vehicles are taken on lease, so funding is always 100%. So that is a crucial point which I would like all of you to remember, that any vehicle that is leased is generally always 100% funding is done. Only in exceptional or in very rare cases there is an option of down payment which actually comes into picture. Now again, coming back, so if there is a car on lease, or if you have heard of certain leasing options around you, the maintenance part of it is covered from the leasing company, or the cost of it is covered. So thereby ABC Limited is nowhere related to the maintaining of the car. XYZ leasing company is actually involved in all the maintaining of the car. Now in terms of insurance also, insurance claims, all these things will be taken care by the XYZ leasing company. Whenever ABC Limited company wants to have any service query, any purchase query, any sales query, any requirement that actually comes in, they'll approach the XYZ leasing company and will share their information, everything. So you as my pro members might have actually thought of it. So you might be working in different dealerships and with different brands. So whenever a leasing company like XYZ leasing company comes to you or comes to your team, or you might have interacted with users who works for ABC Limited kind of companies. So always pay close attention to these users, as they have a better reach out in their own company. For example, in ABC Limited company, you give a vehicle, well, let whatever the brand it be according to the user's choice. And suppose in ABC Limited there are 100 employees. Your one car there in that company actually puts in a word of mouth to all the 100 employees. Thereby your brand development of that particular dealership and that OEM is also built in. Your name as a dealer representative, as your dealer corporate manager, will also be put across to the ABC Limited company. But this is to remind that XYZ leasing company will always be speaking on the ABC Limited company's behalf. So it is always good that you are in touch with the XYZ leasing company as well. So any decisions that are taken will be through the leasing company only, as the reason being is XYZ leasing company is the rightful owner of the vehicle in a lease. So even again, now coming back to the first line, as I said, the landlord is actually always the rightful owner, not the person who uses it. You might remember that. You should remember that. And again, XYZ leasing company is actually the rightful owner who would be giving the vehicle to ABC Limited for the usage of the vehicle, which will be actually only, so therefore the user of the company, ABC Limited company, will only be using the vehicle for a specific tenure decided and discussed and agreed between these two companies. And then after the tenure is completed, it will be returned back. It will be returned back or surrendered back to the XYZ leasing company only. So what would happen here? ABC Limited company will be using the vehicle for 3 years, will be returning the vehicle back. After these 3 years, the user will have an opportunity of buying a car again. At that point of time, all your dealer teams will have another opportunity to deliver vehicles of your brand. This is, in your terms or in the dealer terms, you call this as recurring business. So XYZ leasing company has a relationship with ABC Limited, will always be able to help out in terms of putting a set of brand of vehicles in that company. It will always be beneficial in that way. Now, who are eligible, or what kind of companies, you might say, Pro Karthik, what kind of companies are actually eligible for opting for leasing? So now, as of in India, it actually started with the private limited companies, the proprietorship companies, the limited companies, and the partnership companies as well. Now, recently, they have certain brands in India have come out with the subscription model. They have come out with the individual lease. They have come out with the novated lease. They have come out with a lot of options or products which are there, which is there to help out or to cater to the market or to expand the horizons of leasing for all our users. In India specifically, the leasing concept is still in the nascent stage. It is still on the growing stage. If you look at the numbers, the total numbers dealership wise, let's bring it down the line. In your dealership, if 100 vehicles are delivered, 95 vehicles or 90 vehicles will be delivered through a cash purchase or a loan purchase. The remaining 10 will be through a company purchase, company direct purchase, or through a leasing company only. So this is the kind of penetration which the leasing has in India right now. And yes, all the leasing companies are in India are very aggressive. They are very good at providing their products, and they are able to give their best services to all the clients respectively. So they are able to cover up or take a good track record or get a good track record in terms of getting numbers across all brands and all dealerships across. So that is how it is. And you always have the option of repeat business, as I said. So you can always get in good number of, let's say, for example, Maruti vehicles, or let it be Hyundai vehicles, or let it be Kia vehicles, or let it be Nissan vehicles, etc. Whichever the brand of your choice, of the client's choice, you'll always have an option of repeat business. Now, by this time, you might have all wondered, you start giving vehicles to ABC Limited company. After the tenure completes, where will the vehicles go? You might have started to wonder by now. But yes, again, there is again an option. The whole point of leasing is that, now to make you very simplify, the whole point of leasing is that you always have to surrender the car. That is, after the tenure is completed, you have to return the car back to XYZ leasing company. This helps in a lot of ways. How? As you know, the recent trend or the recent market is placed in such a way that every 3 years or every 5 years, there is a model change which is happening, or there is a feature change or a cosmetic upgrade, or there is a new vehicle altogether which is being launched. So you will have an opportunity of placing your new product or your new vehicle into their company conveniently and very easily. And moreover, that how good it is, it will be very good in terms of managing your brand or promoting your brand in a very easy way. So that would be helpful for you guys in a lot more simpler and a lot more effective way for you guys. And once the tenure, and end of the day, you always want more and more vehicles to be delivered from your dealership, right? So it is always convenient for you if for example, if a user keeps the vehicle for 10 years or 12 years or 15 years, there is no option of repeat business there. Once you give a vehicle for a user for 15 years, the next 15 years, again, he'll only be coming back after 15 years, right? So generally that is how you will have to engage them, stating that 3 years or 5 years once you will have to opt for a vehicle which a new brand or a new model or a new cosmetic upgrade is arrived, which actually makes more sense. I mean, who does not want to opt for a new vehicle every 5 years once? Everybody will have an option would like to opt for new vehicles every 5 years. That is always there. And always in terms of leasing per se, it is always convenient. Suppose you have a good relationship with the XYZ leasing company, and you are in good terms, or you have good relationship in both sales and service, recurring business from the client, from not only from ABC Limited or where XYZ leasing company is associated with, all you dealer guys will always be beneficial in that way. So you will always be getting more number of business, more number of orders or deliveries which can be done. And how do we encourage more number of users to leasing, if you might ask? You might contact the nearest or you might contact AR Pro for us. so which would be actually helpful. So we'll be able to assist you out on this regard, or you might contact your dealer team, or you might contact your fellow pro members. They might be able to assist you on this as well. So as a complete picture, leasing is an interesting option if opted for comparatively to a cash purchase or a loan purchase. One more thing about leasing, you might have heard recently there are Hyundai subscriptions or Maruti subscription, or companies like Zoom or Rev who have come out with subscription models. Leasing also actually plays a good role in terms of when you compare it to a subscription model. Subscription, yes, you are restricted to that particular brand or particular OEM. But whereas if you are promoting a leasing kind of a thing, you are open to all brands. Let's say, for example, in ABC Limited company, there is 10 users who are interested in Hyundai, 10 users who are interested in Kia, 10 users who are interested in Maruti. When you are promoting a Hyundai vehicle subscription or a Maruti vehicle subscription, probably you will be restricted, or you will be only be able to deliver to 10 users only, or probably 15, max 5 more. But whereas in a normal, when XYZ company, leasing company starts approaching them, they will be putting everybody, every brand, every manufacturer across. So it will be the user's choice again. User will have the right of discretion as to which brand does he want to, his right of refusal in case of which brand does he want to, as per his family or as per his requirements and everything. And one more important factor is that these subscription models, you might have seen these vehicles, Rev or Zoom or DriveZ or any kind of subscription vehicles. These are all yellow with blackboard vehicles. These are on as completely called as taxi or completely called as self-driving vehicles. But whereas in a leasing company, the most important factor is that the leasing company, once it is registered from the registered owner, ABC Limited company, and XYZ leasing company is associated or hypothecated to it, so it will be a pure whiteboard number plate. Believe me, a person or a user who is driving a Brezza kind of a vehicle, or a S-Cross kind of a vehicle, or a Hyundai Creta, or let it be a Kia Seltos or Kia Sonet, or whichever vehicle it is, believe me, any user of any company such like ABC Limited company will not be interested, or will feel hesitant, or will feel sorry, or will always be dissatisfied when the vehicle is registered as a black and yellow plate. I mean, it is, as you know, millennials nowadays always are treating cars as a first emotional product or emotional thing. Gone are the days when people used to purchase homes. Now leasing of homes are more. Buying of cars or leasing of cars has even grown 4 times as compared to the last 1 decade. So as I said again, emotional attachment, and Indians are the most of emotionally attached among the world. So we are always emotionally attached to whatever we own or whatever we use, whichever it may be, let it be a pen or a car or whatever it is. So when the first emotional attachment itself has a whiteboard plate, there is a different kind of feeling or a different kind of enthusiasm for him to use your brand or your product. But whereas a self-driving or a used car or let it be a black and yellow plate, it'll only serve a purpose from destination A to destination B, or from destination B to destination C. He'll not be able to use it continuously day in day out for his office purposes, taking out his family, with friends, with his colleagues, whomsoever it may be. He might not be able to, that particular user or the company will not be able to he'll not be able to opt for it, or he'll not be able to happy with it then in the long run. So this is one of the basic differences between a subscription and a leasing purchase. Yes, There are India is a diversified country, so there are people who still prefer to opt for the cash purchase. There are certain segment of the people who opt for the bank loan purchase. There are people who opt for the subscription purchase. There are people who still opt for the car leasing purchase. Yes, our goal is to just understand the whole concept of how leasing works, and just keep it for your information sake. And anybody who might be interested, or whenever you are having a detailed discussion with users, and whenever you are probing them in terms of asking their financial needs as part of your sales inquiry or your service inquiry, or as to you might be in very good books with the users or in companies who might be able to understand as to how they purchase the vehicle, in terms of what their mode of payment was and everything, how was their purchase experience and all these things. There you might also share in this information on terms of leasing. For the past half an hour, whatever I've explained as to how does leasing work, what does it do karke. So this is always there. So this is how it can be done.
So now coming to questions, in fact some questions which we've received from all of you. So Pro Karthik, what are the different tenures available if somebody is looking to lease a car?
The maximum tenure, which it starts with 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years and 5 years. The maximum tenure in which you can lease a car is for 5 years. You might ask me now why. The thing is, let's assume, I have to give you a mathematical example here. Let's assume, or let's for an example, there is a car which is valued at 10 lakh rupees. I'm taking the cost as the ex-showroom cost as 10 lakhs. If 10 lakhs is the cost of the car, even if you opt for a bank loan also, you opt for a bank loan for 1 year or 2 years, the EMI will be very high. It is similarly in leasing purchase also. So it is ideal for anyone to opt for a lease for minimum 3 years or for maximum 5 years. And ideally some users feel that they are looking at 4 years also as a picture. But whereas in certain companies there are clients or there are expats who have come on project work for 2 years and will be going back in the next 2 years point of time. For them it will be given as a perk basis, that is it will be given from the company side itself. So it will be, you can, in such point of time you can always opt for a 2-year term as well. But yeah, ideal term for a leasing will be always between 3 to 5 years, depending on the users and depending on various other factors.
Okay, so with that I understand that there are different factors that also affect the leasing amount per month. In that case, what are the different factors that actually help you in deciding the monthly leasing amount that the customer has to pay?
See, the lease rental, the first and foremost thing is the cost of the car. Yes. Apart from that, how good is the maintenance structure of it, and that means how economical is the maintaining the car over a period of time. So now the trend in the market is that Toyota has the most economical service costing available, followed by Maruti and Hyundai and all these other brands available. Service costing, cost of the vehicle, cost of the service, and cost of the insurance, cost of the resale value. Now you might say resale value of the car. Any leasing company in India will have to look at the resale value of the car, because they are the rightful owners of the car, and for the next 3 years they will be giving the vehicle to use it for the car, for the company. At this point of time, this user, he might use the vehicle very smoothly as per the terms and as per the norms of the manufacturer or the brand available, or in adverse conditions there might be instances where he might bang the vehicle multiple times, or he might be able to return the vehicle abruptly, or there is, God forbid, there is a superdari case which comes into picture, and all these, there is an untimely death of the user. All these things might come in. You might never know all these things. But yes, the factors are, again, as I said, the price of the vehicle, again followed by maintenance part of it, the resale cost of it. So resale cost of it is considered. Yes, since leasing companies are also funding them, they also will be levying an interest component also will be added in the lease rental as well, because after all, yes, this is leasing is a premium service which is offered, but yes, it is also equally very beneficial compared to that. So these are the factors, Srikanth, which actually looked at. These are the basic factors which are looked at how leasing of a vehicle can be done, or which vehicle can be done. And apart from the last and foremost is the tenure and the kilometerage. So you might ask, Karthik, how kilometerage? We will be, as I said, the maintenance schedule of the car, the showroom cost of the car, and the resale of the car is also, we look at the kilometerage. In a year, we look at your ideal usage of the car. Let's say it is 10,000 kilometers or 20,000 kilometers per year. So in 3 years, it will be 60,000 kilometers. For 60,000 kilometers, we will be able to calculate as to this would be the service costing, this would be the cost of the car, this would be the insurance value of the car, and all these parameters, including the resale value, will be provided before you decide on the lease rental part of it.
Okay. So when you talk about leasing, is leasing applicable to all kinds of cars, or is it only applicable to some of the lower segment or higher segment? Is there any segmentation for which a customer can go for a leasing?
The thing is, passenger cars to a certain brands is we will be able to, all the leasing companies will be able to provide services, or will be able to lease these vehicles. But yes, you will not be able to lease a Lamborghini or a Audi or a Porsche Boxster kind of a vehicle, to lease a Audi Q7 or an S-Class kind of an itself is the maximum which can be done, for which the client or the corporate will have to be highly reputed, or will have to be highly financially good in terms of the profile has to be very good for leasing companies to take that decision and leasing of vehicles. But yes, major of the brands which are available in India, until passenger vehicles, until Audi or Mercedes or BMW, until passenger cars up to say the Q7 or the range of vehicles which I'm talking about, Q7, or let it be the GLE or the GLC, or let it be the X5 or the X6. Until these models, all the leasing companies in India will be able to lease vehicles or will be able to offer services for it.
So as per my understanding, a car that is registered when the car is leased out is registered in the leasing company's name. So would this be registered as a private vehicle with a white board, or a self-drive vehicle with a black and yellow board?
Again, I'll have to go slightly in detail for this, Srikanth. So into the depths of in terms of types of registration which are done, types of leasing which are done. So types of vehicle leasing itself, there are multiple products offered by multiple leasing companies which are there in India. Predominantly there is the company registration which is done. There is an individual registration which is done. So predominantly this is how it is done in these two ways. In company registration, it will be a whiteboard vehicle. It will be a whiteboard, white registration plate which would be done. In our individual case also, it will be a whiteboard done. But yeah, the choice of numbers and everything will be at the rest of the users itself. So they will be able to opt for the number at an additional cost as described by the dealer team and the RTO authority accordingly.
You just said that the leasing amount depends on the number of years and also the number of kilometers driven by the user. In that case, what happens if the user exceeds the number of kilometers? Say the user has taken a lease for 60,000 kilometers, and before the end of leasing, he crosses the 60,000 kilometers. What happens then?
So generally here there are two things which happen. One, the user will find out that he is nearing the kilometerage that what is opted for. He either requests to extend the tenure. If he is opted for 3 years, he'll try to opt for 4 years with a different recalculated kilometerage or the over a period of 4 years. Or even if this tenure is near completion, what would happen is the leasing company, once let's say that somebody has surrendered the vehicle or given back the vehicle, and then it is found out there is an excess kilometer driven on the vehicle. At that point of time, there is an excess kilometer age usage coverage which has been levied on the car. This is applicable across all the leasing companies. They do that. So because again, if the vehicle is driven more, obviously the resale value of the vehicle also will come down a bit. So the next person who would be opting your vehicle will obviously look at the kilometerage, the odometer running of the vehicle. That is a basic thing which anybody opts when opts for a second-hand vehicle in the market. So you might also have come across such scenarios, and my pro members also might have come up. So there is an excess kilometerage charge which is levied, so which is at a nominal cost compared to the vehicle, to the brand, and to the model. Again, yes, the most ideal thing here is to extend the tenure of the lease, which would be ideal for the user, or as per the user convenience, he can pay the excess kilometer and he can surrender the car.
So in this case, who benefits more? A customer who drives a lot per month, or a customer who uses the least amount of kilometers per month? Who benefits more from car leasing?
Here, in terms of leasing, a person, see, you might say that there is, for example, for ABC Company Limited, we say XYZ Leasing Company gives 2 cars. One is a very premium car, S-Class. Let's give, for example, let's keep it at S-Class. That would be driven by the MD from point A to point B, from point B to point A, just from his home to his office, etc. And his kilometer usage will be just approximately 1,000 kilometers per month. So around about, let's for a 3-year tenure, it will be around 36,000 kilometers. Let's take another example wherein there will be another user who stays very far, and his usage will be around 1,500 kilometers per month, which would round about, say, about 45 to 50,000 kilometers approximately. At this point of time, the whole convenience part of it, so what would happen is a person in terms of maintenance also will be benefited here, and his coverage also will be completely looked into. So a person who is having long-term travel or a maximum usage is there, so his usage also is taken into picture. But yes, to answer your question, the difference is not much, and the similarities are very, very good and highly beneficial for both of them. So how does the user benefit? End of the day, it is all about money. It is all about the lease rental. It is all about the cost to the company. If a company like ABC Company is employing a user and keeping him paying his salaries, his expenses and everything, and taking work from his side, and he's being employed by the company, obviously he will also ask for, there will be an additional value added services is what is the car lease option, which will be provided by major corporates. So again, the employee, let's say the employee is deciding on the lease rental. The lease rental in a much beneficial way is a tax benefit to him. You might ask me how. According to the government of India, whichever company offers a lease or a lease vehicle, the lease rental is directly deducted from his cost to company, that is a CTC, which will be a tax benefit to him on a month on a year-on-year basis. This is beneficial for all the employees of a company wherein which they plan to opt for a vehicle. So again, now coming back to the basics, in a leasing, basically you are opting for a Swift ZXi, your finances are set, your down payment is set, everything will be set for a Swift ZXi. But whereas in a leasing point of view, you opt for a Swift ZXi, the leasing company will be able to give you a tailor-made option of making you for an Amaze or making you for an S-Cross, depending on the lease rentals and the kind of kilometerage and the kind of service package or the maintenance package that you offer, or you negotiate with the leasing company. So a person who is opting for a Swift, he will be more interested in opting for a Desire kind of a vehicle or a Amaze kind of a vehicle, rather than a person opting for a hatchback will always be more interested in going for a sedan. So that is a general perception. And also, as an ABC company, will have a retention of the employee. An employee who is serving for the company for the past 7 or 10 years you give him a vehicle costing about 10 to 12 lakhs, he will be obviously much more delighted and will plan to stay with the company for the next 5 to 10 years, or maximum even more, depending on the package which is there. And in terms of comfort and convenience also, this actually is very good. A company perspective is that you can actually give it as a CTC kind of a model, which serves the general employees. You can look at tool for trade as an option. That is, so tool for trade as in you are using the vehicle to promote your company's products or company's services accordingly. For example, dealer teams can actually look at leasing test drive vehicles, which will be beneficial for them at any point of time. So one way you are promoting your own dealership, you are promoting your brand, and you are promoting the leasing concept as well. And you'll also be able to look at servicing or leasing your service vans or all these kind of things, which again is a tool for trade. That means you are using this vehicle as a tool for trade purpose. This is number 2. Number 3 is a perk option. Suppose there is in a company, there is a expat who is coming for 2 years or 3 years as a project point of view, and he'll be there, who will be for 3 years only. For such kind of people, the company can actually give vehicles, who can actually drive the vehicles or use the vehicles with the chauffeur for the next stipulated period of time, and then he'll be able to return the vehicle after 2 years after his project work is completed. So that you will not need to, the whole point of having the perk is that you will not need to actually appoint another vehicle, or you need not look at chauffeur, or you will not look at the expenses of travel for the expat or the senior management employee who is coming. So that would be an ideal option. So these are the basic predominant or fundamental types of lease which are actually there in India right now.
Okay team, so I guess all of you loved the show, and I hope all your doubts regarding car leasing is completely cleared. We thank Pro Karthik for joining us on the show and explaining all about car leasing.
Thank you. I would like to say thanks to all my AR Pro members, to Pro Srikanth, and for everybody who has given me this opportunity to in explaining the whole concept of leasing. If I have left out anything, please do let me know. I am available on my mobile number mentioned below, and end of the day, you can always contact me. I'm just 10 numbers away to you. Thank you once again.
If you have any more questions, immediately send an email to this email ID, and we will forward this to Pro Karthik and get a response as soon as possible. So with that, we come to end of our show, and again thanking Pro Karthik for joining us on the show and giving us all these details. Let us catch up on yet another interesting video next week, and goodbye all of you.